Battle Ace is a big episode here, and that's because December 8th, 1989 brought in the rest of the 1989 hardware refresh, and Battle Ace was the launch title for the PC Engine's successor system. Yes, the PC Engine was only 2 years old, but it was time for a whole new platform, the SuperGrafx. Yes, they borrowed the branding from the US version of the PC Engine, right down to the weird spelling of graphics from the TurboGrafx. What bold new innovations did the SuperGrafx bring? Well, first, they added more RAM. And the other thing is that they added a second copy of the PC Engine's video chip, along with an event handler chip to allow the system to swap between the two. Because of the second video chip, the SuperGrafx could handle twice as many sprites, and it could have a second background layer. Since that other background could scroll independently at a different speed, they provided hardware support for parallax scrolling, which gives an illusion of depth by having objects scroll past at different rates. All of this power could be yours for a mere 39,800 yen, almost twice as much as the core graphics unit that NEC and Hudson released on the same day. Of course, the SuperGrafx was fully compatible with the PC Engine. Even the CD-ROM unit would work with it, though for the original model CD-ROM you had to have an adapter, as the SuperGrafx wide-body form factor didn't let it fit into that original briefcase design. NEC and Hudson released the SuperGrafx, and the response was immediate. It was a complete and total bomb. One of the most infamous bombs in the history of video game consoles. The SuperGrafx managed to get 5 games released for it. The launch title in 1989, 2 in 1990, and 2 in 1991. Nobody wanted this system, which of course makes it a very expensive collectible these days. The only SuperGrafx game that's not part of the 10,000 yen club, the exclusive club for video games where you have to pay at least 10,000 yen for a cartridge-only copy, is the launch title, Battle Ace. So why am I talking about the SuperGrafx in PC Engine power? Well, mainly because, more than any other backwards compatible system, the SuperGrafx is just a souped-up PC Engine. PC Engine software runs on it natively with no problems. It's the exact same hardware under the hood, they just added a little bit more of it. And there's only 5 games. The SuperGrafx is part of the PC Engine's ecosystem, and adding those games to the list isn't a big hurdle. So I'll talk about the SuperGrafx as it comes. And of course, kicking things off is the only SuperGrafx game you could play for the first 6 months, Battle Ace. The concept behind Battle Ace is that the Cosmo Force is an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us, penetrates us, and binds the galaxy together. The Empire has taken advantage of the Cosmo Force to conquer the galaxy, but a small rebel army, striking from a hidden base, are fighting back against the Empire. The rebels have equipped their best fighter, the Battle Ace, with a new weapon system, and sent it out to free the galaxy. And the way they do that is traveling to 7 planets, shooting their way through waves of enemy fighters, and then defeating a boss at the end. Battle Ace is very clearly inspired by Sega's Super Scalar games, particularly Galaxy Force, though you can see bits and pieces of other Super Scalar games in there. The game is played from a cockpit view, and confusingly, the HUD has 2 sets of crosshairs. The small one indicates where your guns are firing. The one made up of the lines that cross the entire HUD indicate your position in the box that you're allowed to fly through. You are on a rail in this shooter, and you're not allowed to get very far off of it. The position crosshair also determines if you lock on to enemy craft. Enemies that you've targeted will get a little crosshair placed on them. You fire your main gun by pressing button 1, and launch missiles by pressing button 2. While you have unlimited missiles, you can only fire 2 at once, and enemies that are currently being chased down by missiles change their marker color to red. Naturally, enemies shoot back, and to dodge their shots, you'll need to just get out of the way. Of course, that's easier said than done, since sometimes things will just zip in from off-screen and hit you almost instantaneously. Your ship goes down with just 1 hit, and when you die, you have this very lengthy crashing sequence. Having to sit through it every time is almost more of a punishment than losing the life. You start out with 3 lives and can earn extra ones with score. There are also no continues, so you'll have to beat all 7 worlds in one go. My first play while I was recording resulted in a game over on the second stage, and rather than record a lot of footage of the first and second stage over and over again, I broke out a cheat code. If you press and hold select and run to reset the game, then release run, hit up, release select, hit up 3 times, right 6 times, down twice, left twice, and then hit run again, you can adjust the number of lives all the way up to 255. That doesn't mean you'll breeze through the game though, because Battle Ace is brutally unfair. If you don't know what's coming, you're going to get killed. And if you do know what's coming, there's still a decent chance that you'll get killed. Terrain obstacles have a bad tendency to pop out of nowhere, and every boss has unique attacks that you just won't know how to react to until you've been hit by them. Bosses in Battle Ace are immune to missile lock, so you have to shoot them down with guns. And of course, they're only vulnerable for short periods while they're shooting at you. You'll want to get a couple of hits in and then get out of the way. Battle Ace has no power-ups, nothing else that you can do besides maneuver and shoot your guns. And the stages wind up feeling very samey, since the enemies constantly repeat, and the unique features of every stage are just brief sections. Pinning down opinions on Battle Ace was actually kind of tricky, since when it came up, people tended to want to talk more about the SuperGrafx in general rather than the game. I did find a few people who talked about how they found the game to be technically impressive, and a lot more that mentioned that the SuperGrafx really should have had more games than it for its launch. My own feeling on Battle Ace is that it's not a very good game. Even if it wasn't incredibly shallow, the difficulty feels downright random. I'm sure you can memorize movements through empty space that will get you through every stage. That isn't as much fun as dodging and weaving through the terrain. It does look nice. I think it does a better job of transferring the super scalar effect to a console than any other 8-bit game. It's just the gameplay is not enjoyable at all. I'd call Battle Ace the worst SuperGrafx game, but there is one other that can compete for that title. So instead, I'll just say it's mediocre. The SuperGrafx deserved something better than this at launch.